Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. It is January 31st, 2023. I had an idea for a video to do tonight, but as I was playing today, um, actually when I just booted up, I saw something that might be actually very helpful to people for chances of possibly being ganked or at least using all of your different facilities to keep yourself alive while you're out in especially areas like low sec and null sec. Some of you probably already know this. I haven't used it as much. Actually, I don't think I've ever used it. And I will be using it a lot more often because I don't know why it just clicked into my head. That being said, we'll talk about that in about a minute. No, I'm not going to do one of these. Watch till the end of the video and you'll hear the best part of the video. I have no idea if the best part is the beginning or the end. The only other thing I was going to wait till tomorrow to talk about because I have another idea for a video that I wanted to do today that I'll probably do tomorrow. I don't know. Is I did do some upgrades to the stabber today. I got the blueprints that I needed and set those up and then refit it out to the basic fit that I had yesterday. And there's been some progression. So first I'll give you guys the hints that might keep you alive, and then I'll show you the upgrades and then fly in and try to blow something up. So first off, when I just booted in about 5-10 minutes ago, I logged off in space into a system that normally doesn't have anybody hanging out in. It's pretty quiet normally. This is kind of my little testing system. I can test out any one of them. This one just seems to be a little bit quieter than most recently with all of the movements of Fire Coalition and some of the other ones that are in the area. And what I normally like to do is just check the in-game map. You've seen me do this 1,000 times. And I realized I wanted to fly back to MTAC M to pick up some ammo. And before I fly anywhere in nullsec, I always check the route just to see what could possibly be out there. And when I did, I looked at the in-game map here. I did it by ships destroyed in the last hour. And so one jump away is UNJ. Nothing killed there. Nothing killed in SL. Nothing killed in NIH. But then when I hovered over MTAC M, which usually there's some action there because it's the one system that has multiple stations in it, it showed me that 3 ships were destroyed in the last hour, which is usually a bing, okay, maybe want to avoid that or maybe go do something else for a little while till it quiets down a little bit. One ship, I'm normally not too worried, but anything over 1 in a quiet area like the Great Wildlands means that there's probably a good chance for a gate camp or something going on that if I don't have a cloaky ship, I want to be careful with. And I am flying my scavenge stabber. So probably not a good idea for me to fly it over there. But then I thought, and this is the part that I've never done this before, and there's probably guys who do this all the time, and I never even thought of this, was to go into Zkillboard, and you'll probably see me do this a lot more when I'm tracking things down. And I basically just typed in MTAC M, which gives me all the different systems that start with that, which is kind of amazing that there's so many of them. But I can just hover and choose that, and I already chose it earlier. And it actually, since they've been uploaded, now it won't upload all of them. There's, this is a third-party site. It's only how active you are. But I was able to see everything that has been killed in January 31st, 2023. And if you notice the timestamps here, 2033, 2034, 2035, 2033 right there, and then 12. So a bunch of ships that were destroyed right there. Whoop. So if we look at our current time, which you can't see because I have my ugly face over the top of it, it's real small down here, but it's 21:038. So those 4 ships were destroyed. Now I'll move my ugly face back over. Destroyed at the same time, or are the ships that were destroyed on the main map. So that tells me definitely there's some action going on. Now, one thing you can do is look at what was destroyed to maybe get a feel for what was there. If it's a bunch of capital ships, then there's a big fleet battle going on. If there's a bunch of frigates, or maybe even some small ships, there could be like just dogfighting going on or things like that, or just random death. Um, a good one would be exploration ships. If somebody kills an exploration ship, you know that they're targeting them. Um, what I noticed, and I'm going to go ahead and get moving here so I'm a little bit less of a target while I've got this up. Actually, I'm going to pull this down. There we go. And I'm going to pull back up Zkillboard. There it is. So I can keep an eye on down below if anybody comes in the system. Probably should have done that earlier. So let's take a look at what just died in the last hour. Well, number one, there's a mobile small warp disruptor that was destroyed. A Gnosis, and then a Purifier, and then a Hecate. So normally I've seen a lot of Gnosis, and I'm not a gate camper, but I know a lot of people use the Gnosises. I've seen them for gate camps. But this was destroyed by that. So you can go and look at what was destroyed here. And it was destroyed by a group of people here. Marauder, a couple other people. So it looks like and look at it, this is a really fit out piece of ship here going on. And these guys took it out, including the other things that were taken out. So long story short, this was probably a busted up gate camp. But this is something that you can do to see on top of the in-game map, and seeing that something has died recently in the last hour. Pull up Zkillboard, put in the solar system, and you can see there's a good chance that if it's within over like 5 or 10 minutes earlier, you can figure out what was there, what was destroyed, and maybe get a feel for it. Now, I'm still not going to fly over there right now, just because I'm not real good yet at flying the Stabber, and it's not the best ship to fly in an area like that. But this is just a hint for any of you guys out there. If you haven't used it, I know a lot of the old heads are really fast at stuff like this. I'm not, but I could get better. And this will be a general thing that I do a lot of when I'm trying to figure out my routes that I'm going, especially out in nullsec. The big one here is this mobile warp disruptor, because that tells me that this was a gate camp. And what probably happened was these were the ships that were gate camping it, and they got busted up, or just the Gnosis was there, and maybe these two, well, no, all these were destroyed by this group from the Arrival. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So that is that. That is, hopefully that's helpful to you guys. If it saves you a ship, that's awesome. So the second thing I wanted to show you guys, there we go, is the last couple episodes I've been doing little updates on this Scavenge Stabber. Yesterday I came up with that super basic, stable fit, and I actually made it. So I brought out the parts with me. Then I also bought the blueprint so I can create these same parts for the future. So I don't have to buy them off the market, and I can slowly bring out some copies out here and maybe make this ship or something down the road. Couple things that I learned were some skills that I was able to adapt to this that I'm working on right now that have helped it a little bit. This is a purely, I focused on tanking it first, DPS second. Normally I go DPS first and then tank second. Now you might say to yourself, you said you didn't go for DPS and I see 3 gyro stabilizers down here. Yep, those were the last things that I added. The first thing that I did was, well, I put the guns on because you have to have the guns. Or I kept the guns on. I just updated the ship that I had, Mr. Roberto here. Then I threw in the shield extenders and the shield reinforcers that I had yesterday. That I talked about yesterday. Then I threw on the core field extender, which increased the size of my shields as rigs. I also went in and got the skill for shield rigs and put that in there so it wasn't as much of a negative to me as possible. I then threw on the shield amplifiers for both explosive and kinetic to boost up my um, damage resistance, since this is an NPC uh, uh, PvE ship. Um, if this was a PvP ship, I'd be trying to fill in the opposite. I'd try to go in for the gaps there, maybe, or something other than that. I'm not a PvPer, but so I extended the shields, threw on some defenses there. I'm going to show you how I'm able to take some damage now here in a minute. And then everything else just kind of fit in around the way. Stuff here that I can still mess around with. Um, I've got the afterburner on here versus a micro warp drive. Is that an option? I've got an inertial stabilizer on here to get me to turn a little bit faster. There's an option there that I could switch that out with something. I've got a little bit of a gap here. Power grid, I've got 23.5 left I can use. CPU 131. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room that I can use for the future. Do I want to switch out these missiles and go with something else in my top slots? I don't know. But I also upgraded the drones to warriors, so they do my explosive damage, which is the best against the angels that are out here. And long story short, after all of this, I was able to increase my DPS to 225, which is now more than the Thrasher that I have. Just a little bit, my Scavenge Thrasher that I was using out here. But that is a weird number because the Thrasher is all guns. It's one type of damage, whereas this is 225 DPS off of 4 guns, 2 missiles, and 5 drones. So they're going to be doing different types of damage and being able to. So even though it says 225, I don't think it actually does as much for the fact that there are different levels of damage. Whereas with the Thrasher and it's all guns, I could focus on one range, one type of thing there. Also, some of my skills are not the best with drones and things like that I'm working on. But one last thing, and this is kind of quick, but one last thing that I did notice, this was a really quick skill that I was able to throw in today and get to level 2. I've got it set to go to level 3. Was doing the explosive shield compensation and the kinetic shield compensation. Now, it helped out a little bit, but what it is a skill that helps with your, there it is, your shield amplifiers. So I'll just show you here, if I'm not mistaken, power grid usage, attributes. See how my defense here is 32.2. Its base value is normally 29.3. So doing 2 levels of that skill has bumped that up by about 3%. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's 3% on top of the 75% that was there. So it's not going to give me go from a certain amount to add on 3% on top of the base of my explosive. But I'll show you here. I did save my screenshot before those skills went into place. There we go. So this was before the skills went into place. I've got both of them at level 2, the kinetic and the explosive. Didn't do a whole lot, but it did go 74% to... Hello? There we go. 75% and 69% to 70%. So not a huge bump there. So is it worthwhile? It took me about 3 hours to skill both of those up. So I would say, yeah, I got an extra percentage off that for about 6 total hours, maybe even less than that. So I'm cool with that. It's allowing me to really try out these passive modules before I switch back to the active modules and see how those work as well. So that is one little bonus that you can check out. So last but not least, again, I really was planning on doing a little bit of a different video tonight until I boot it in. So I'll save that for tomorrow. But remember how I was saying, I don't know if you watched the video from yesterday, I was saying I want to start trying to do some of the uh, cosmic signatures, the combat sites that are out here. Now, I know I'm not going to be able to do them well yet. And even with a cruiser, I'm not even sure if I can do it. Now, I know I could probably do it with a faction cruiser or maybe a perfectly fit out one with high level equipment. But I'm going with scavenged parts right now. And I want to see what I can do on the cheap. Because, just to show you here, this ship is only 15.7 million ISK. Now, for newer players, that may seem like a lot, but anybody that plays this for more than a month will know that that's not a very expensive ship at all. And for me to be able to, if I can maybe do these combat sites or some of them, it's a good test to see how I'm doing. So whenever I get that better equipment, I know how to use it, and I know what I can do. So one thing I was trying out earlier was I went to the hidden hub. Now, the hidden hub, they go in levels. You've got your cosmic signature combat sites go hidden hub, well, regular hub, and it's for all the sites, whether it's Sancha or Angels or Blood Raiders. It goes hub, hidden hub, Forsaken hub, and then Forlorn hub are your levels of the hubs, which are supposedly how hard they are. Now, the weird part is I was able to do actually better in the lower level, the hidden hub. I'm sorry, I was able to do better in the Forsaken hub than the hidden hub, even though the hidden hub is supposed to be easier. Why? Because there's so many ships on grid at the hidden hub when you start, whereas the Forsaken hub, there were only battle cruisers and battleships, which I could avoid. The biggest question is, could I tank the damage, which is why I went for the tanking first versus the damage ability. Enough said, let's go shoot something. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to be flying into a Forsaken hub, operating in the next heart of the Cursed region. The Angel Cartel today is criminal factions. The Angels are divided into several groups, each a very special function. It's commanded by the Dominations. In the century, blah, 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 blah. We'll get to that at some point. So flying into here, I can now start trying some different weird things out, some different parts, because I know what I need. So I killed off earlier the battle cruisers. Notice there are only battleships left. So I'm going to go ahead and get moving here. The question is, can I do enough damage to take these guys out, and can I tank it? Now, I'll tell you, earlier, I was able to tank it. So we're going to see if I am able to do that again. Now, I'm not flying straight at them. They're starting to miss me. So being in a cruiser, the battle cruisers were able to hit me, whereas the battleships weren't. We'll see if that holds up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and launch the drones. Keeping an eye on local. Always keeping an eye on local. And I picked one guy here. Now, let's take a look at these guys. Usually the guys that have a lower bounty, this one's 1.2 million. Wow, 1.2 million S. And then this one here is 1. Oh, okay, so this one is supposed to be easier. Because usually the bounty means that it costs less. So let's go ahead and see if I can do enough damage yet. I wasn't able to do a whole lot of damage earlier on. I was able to start pinging them down, but one of the reasons why I wanted to go get more ammo. So we're within range. And let's see here. I'm within my optimal range too of my guns. Now my drones are pinging away, but it's not really doing a whole lot here. It's they're tanking it with the shields. Go ahead and start firing away. 132. Okay. I can just hold this over the top of it. We're at 97, 99, 96. So the question is whether or not, now we're back up to 100. So it's able to tank this right now. Yep. Let's throw in the missiles. There's only 2 late missiles. They're not going to do a whole lot of damage. Probably some, but it might be that little bit over the top. I'm not going to say I'm going to sit here forever. Now did you notice that? My guns missed. my guns actually missed a battleship. That's interesting. That's bad. Because every time your guns miss, that is a missed opportunity that they can re-tank off of you. I know. Got a dog underneath my feet who is trying to get attention because I'm talking to you guys again. So 301. Oh, shield is down to 88, 87. So we're starting to ping them down. Now notice down here, they are hitting me, but not for a whole lot. So I am pinging them down here. That's interesting. Let's take a quick look at so they are most susceptible to your explosive and kinetic. They do mostly explosive damage. They have some EM. That's interesting. All right. That might be that random missile that hits. Nope, that's explosive is the missile. So they are able to hit me. And look at that. They're actually starting to tank me back. Okay. So that tells me I'm right on the edge of being able to take these guys out. This would take way too long to do. For all you guys out there that are like, if you flew a Navy Vexor or this or that, you could do that a lot easier. That's not what this is about. This is trying different things out to learn different things. So it might be able to help me in the future. I never would have used those passive modules or put those skills in if I hadn't tried this before. The biggest thing that I'm watching here is that I'm close. I'm super close to being able to do enough damage. But the most important part is I'm tanking it. I'm tanking their damage. So now I can really focus on trying to do something a little bit more interesting, like work on my DPS. Now, whether or not once I kill these guys off, I can take out the next area, I don't know. We're going to find out. So, enough of that. We're just wasting ammo now. Look at this. CSC, we're down to 91, 90. But remember, I got to 85 or 86, 85 earlier. Then they boosted it back up. So, look at that. My group missed again. So, there's a question for you. And I'm not hitting them super hard with these. So, what I'm going to try to do is that trick that I did the other day. Instead of orbiting, or actually, let's try and turn off my afterburner. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of ammo left. I got enough to fire off enough shots here. So I'm slowing down. Notice I'm being hit now for more. Okay. Boom, hit again. Now, can I do more damage because I'm going slower? I'm going to find out here. There's my guns. Yeah, see, I'm 359. Okay. 275. All right. And notice I'm getting hit. 211. I haven't seen me miss yet. 303. So let's go ahead and pull my drones in here because I'm going to have to warp off here fairly soon. 353. So remember those damages that I was doing were about 100. I've actually almost been able to double my damage. But I'm taking more damage. Very 408. See that? I'm not missing at all. So very, very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and align to my safe spot. These are things that I can learn against PvE so that at some point, there we go. At some point, whenever I want to do PvP, I'll understand the tactics more that I can do, depending on the weapons that I have. So, cool. I'm right on the edge. I'm so close with these scavenged parts, and a lot of it might just be the skills. And then once I get over that edge, I can just keep piling on top of it. So some different skills that I've got in here. Light drone operation is going to go to level 4 in about 6 hours. Got the explosive shield compensation kinetic, so that's going to make me tank a little bit more. Light missiles, well, that's not going to help me a whole lot. It's going to get me there. Minmatar Cruiser 4 is a big one because I'm only at 3 right now, and then medium projectile turret 4. So both of those are going to give me more damage and more rate of fire if I'm not mistaken. I think level 4 gets me. So really I'm so close. Show info. Yeah, rate of fire. That'll give me a 7.5 bonus on my rate of fire just to get to level 4. So I'm looking forward to that. Before I do another testing video on this, I will either dump my skill points into that to try it out, and make sure all those are updated so you guys can see what the differences are. But other than that, that's all I got for today. I'm going to wait and try to get out of here. Hopefully what I told you about earlier might save you guys a ship here or there. But other than that, and a lot of you probably already use that, or if you don't, it might show you the importance of it. I've always known about using Zkillboard. It's just a matter of spending the time to do it. But if you can set yourself up so you can do it quickly, boom, you got it. You don't have to even think about it anymore. I used to think that cloaking myself between... Actually, I used to think that making safe undocks on stations was annoying and I would never use them, and now I have them all over the place. So a lot of things that I used to think that I didn't have enough time to do have saved me and make my gaming a lot more fun and easier. It makes me feel like I have more control. So this might be one thing that might be able to help you guys. Alrighty. That's all I got. Hey, I just shaved today, too. That's why I'm doing this. I got all sorts of weirdness on my mustache. You guys don't need to know about that. But that's all I got. I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you fly safe and fly dangerously and fly however you want. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.